Long video time, we're going to be taking a look at a knockoff in today's video. This is a set called The Confrontation from a brand called Enlighten Brick, although nowadays they're actually known as Qman. Don't know why they changed. But yeah, it's an interesting set. I actually have several copies of this set, meaning that I have noticed some discrepancies between them, some variation between them. So let's go ahead and get right on into it. First, focusing on those variations. This is the elf figure that comes from the set we're reviewing today. This is the elf figure from a set that I got a couple of years ago. And the main difference between these sets is the base color of the body. This is dark green. This is a really good match for Lego's dark green, whereas this is dark metallic green. There's a metal flake to it, and that is very clearly an obvious choice. I really like that, although, you know, obviously I think this is more useful because Lego doesn't currently have a metallic dark green, but I like to compare the metallic to like old flip-flop Bionicle masks, if you're familiar with that. They have a similar sort of grain size, a similar dispersal of those grains, right? Amount. This is also a mask from this brand as well, from Enlighten, so that's why I'm using it, because it's a larger piece. It's easier to see here on camera, and yeah, it just feels a lot like those old flip-flop masks from very early Bionicle. So if you like those masks, or if you like just metallic pieces in general, I think you will like it. The printing on it is good too. It's way more detail, I think, than Lego would do, and interestingly, the body comes fully assembled as the torso and the legs. You have to put the arms in yourself, you have to put the head in yourself, but the torso and the legs come together, and they might even be glued. I'm honestly not sure. No, they're not glued. But I think the reason that they do that is so that when they print on it, the prints are going to align, because I think they print on the entire piece at once, which is actually really cool. Along with that, I have a knight figure that comes with this set as well. I'm comparing it to an old knight figure, and the only thing I could really notice that was different about these two is that the newer one, or I'm calling it newer because it's new to me, has a matte texture on the helmet, whereas this one's more glossy. So I found that kind of interesting too, if that's something you pay attention to. As for the little feather on the top of the hat, I don't believe that matches any accessory size from Lego. I think it's a little too big, so I think the hole on the top of this helmet is proprietary in size, which means you'd have to use it with this brand or just go empty. That's fine too. It is a good looking helmet though. I don't know if Lego has an analog to this. The body armor is very simple in its design, but it does look very good. I think Lego does have an analog for that. And to show you the print underneath, just because that head is a little bit hard to take off, I'll just go ahead and show you this one right here. That is the printing on this. A little hard to see, I know, but basically scale mail like. Yeah, it's good. It works. It looks good. That's really just about everything I can say. As for the printing on the heads, on both of these, they're very good. They're on par with Lego, although the eyes look maybe just a little slightly more cartoony. That could just be me, and I know Lego has different styles depending on the theme as well, so I think these are a really, really good match if you wanted custom head pieces that looked like Lego, but aren't one-to-one recreations of a Lego print, for example. And just so that I'm because I'm curious, yeah. And the heads do seem to match internally, so you're not going to get like a random head with it. You get the same head for each set. Okay, so next, looking at the instructions, just super quickly, this is what these look like. There is no parts list, unfortunately, but the bags are numbered. The bags are numbered in a way that makes sense too. Small pieces in their own separate bag. Bag 1 is the build for the first little machine that you build. There are 2 different vehicles. This is a small one. So it's not like they're haphazard, which I really appreciate. The instructions are also really clear. It shows you exactly which piece you're putting on, where you're putting it on. It sort of dims out the area you've already built, which I do like, and it even shows you, it goes above and beyond, showing you the size of the plates and the bricks that you're using in that step as well, which Lego doesn't do. So that's interesting. Also interesting, I just noticed with the metallic piece, it puts a little bit of a glint on it, a little glimmer on it. I'll have to check the other instructions that I have for these sets, because the older ones that I have, older as in the ones that I got a few years ago, don't actually have metallic pins in them. This one does. That's another variation. Speaking of that variation, let me show you that very quickly. If I take one of these wheels off, these pins, of which you get at least 6, potentially more though, because I think these wheels come with them too, but don't quote me on that. Yeah, they do. Yeah, you get 10 at least of these in flat silver. I say at least because I actually got 2 extras in this set, meaning I got 12 total in flat silver, Lego matching flat silver, and they're frictionless. That's cool. The old set that I got had them in light bluish gray, which is also a very useful color if you want to avoid tan, and also frictionless as well. But speaking of frictionless, what I really find interesting is every pin in this set is frictionless, including the black 2-length pin or standard pin here, and the 3-length pins all in this area here. Those are all frictionless pins. If you want to fool around with somebody and tease them, you could swap their pins out for these and they'd not know what's going on. I find that fascinating. It's a little novelty, sure. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense consistency-wise because Lego separates these colors for a reason, right? But it is still funny, right? And also, I did take off the rubber band here. I'll probably put that back on in this video real quick, but the ball pieces that they connect to are actually trans neon green, which is not a color that Lego has produced for these pieces, and it's a gorgeous color. And as somebody who builds a lot of Rahi, I'm struggling to put these rubber bands on. As somebody who builds a lot of Rahi, that's going to be a very useful color for me because I can use it to make like eyes and things. So this is where the rubber band goes. It's a little difficult to get in there because it is a kind of plastic coated rubber band like what Lego uses now, but it likes to kind of curl, and so as you can see, it sort of buckles up a little bit when it's pulled all the way in. I think this rubber band's just a little too large for this set specifically. So function, this is the main build here. I'll take a look at some other unique pieces here in a moment, but you push this carriage back. I'm just going to call it a carriage. This brown assembly here, it pushes up on this little tooth build, and then the tooth falls into a hole in the back end, that little piece right there. When it falls in, it locks in place, and then you just push down on this and it releases. It's a really good, clever mechanism. It's very simple to understand, but it does use some pieces that Lego does not make, and I'll show those in a moment. However, the projectile is where things suffer. So this is the projectile right here. First things first, I think that's a recolor for this piece. You only get one, unfortunately, but still a useful color for it nonetheless. But it is attached, however, to a 1x2 brick, and that's where the problems start to belie because A, that increases the weight of it quite a bit, and B, it's not nearly as aerodynamic, right? So it's not going to spin around terribly much, but it needs that in order to fit in this little void right here. So that just prevents it from really going anywhere, and then when you release it, it's going to launch. It doesn't go particularly far, at least with this version. I have tested it with my other ones as well. They went a little bit better, but that could just be a discrepancy between rubber bands. It could be a million different things that could be that problem. So like I said, I think this is a really clever mechanism. It just needs a little more optimization and particularly better projectile of some kind, as much as I love this piece. With that said, though, other lovable pieces in the set are these lime green air katanas, a perfect match for Lego's lime green, a fantastic remold of the air katana as well. There's really no difference between this mold and the original, other than the fact it doesn't say Lego on it, right? And they do feel to be a polypropylene-like material. I can't say that for certain because I don't know this company well enough. They're maybe slightly more, I don't want to say greasy because that has a bad connotation to it, but slippery than the Lego versions of these pieces. It doesn't feel cheap. It feels fine, and they're great pieces. They feel roughly the same in terms of like torque, I guess, on them. Torsion, is that the word? No, torsion would be twist. Anyway, but you know, they're far and away excellent recolors for these pieces, and obviously Lego did not give them to us, so getting 2 of them here is incredible. That's where I've gotten all of my air katanas in lime green, and I now have 8 of them. I have too many of them. No, I'm gonna build something with them, but outside of that, you get 1 Borak tooth in lime green, a less exciting recolor because we do get it from Lego in regular green, but a recolor nonetheless. It's actually being used currently on my Paradise bird for the back talons of his feet, and that's cool. As for this large piece right here, I don't know if Lego makes one of these. I feel like they do, but I'm not positive. It has pinholes on 4 sides. And interestingly, maybe more interestingly, in fact, let me pull this cap off if I'm able to get it. A little bit difficult to do just because there's no real the tolerance between these two pieces. It has axle holes around the central pinhole there, which I find really fascinating. I don't think Lego does if they make this piece at all. Also, all of the studs are hollow, which is neat. Not all the way through though, but you know, you can use it for some connections. Other than that, it just comes with a dark or a light bluish gray shield piece. Pretty good match for Legos. This piece here in trans neon green, I think is new as well. And outside of that, I'll talk about gripes here in a moment. So let's go ahead and focus on the small machine for a minute. So that is this guy right here. All of what you're seeing, by the way, that looks like details on both of these machines are stickers too. So there's a pretty decent little sticker sheet on it. Sticker quality is good. The printing is good. They're a little bit harder to remove from the actual sticker sheet though. I think the die cutter or whatever doesn't go quite all the way through, or the material just might be different. I'm not positive, but the stickers themselves are really high quality, and I do really like them. Good detail on them. But you get two of these shields, one on each side. You put a sticker on it or leave it, it flats over. That's cool. I think Lego has a piece like this, but don't quote me. I'm not familiar enough with any of the Knight stuff from Lego. These pieces too also have stickers. Interestingly, this set came with 2 extras. So you get 4 of these in total, but what's more important than these flags is what they're connected to. That is a 2-length bar. Lego does not currently make that piece. It is so useful. It is compatible with Lego. It has just the right amount of friction. It's a fantastic piece. You only get 2 in the set, unfortunately, no extras. And that's really sad because you do get extras of some other things. So I'm surprised that's not here because they're one of the smallest pieces in the set. That said, it does have spring-loaded launchers. They do work like Legos. They feel like Legos as well. So I don't think there's really any difference between them. And color-wise, they are the same as Legos. So you don't get a recolor of them here, unfortunately. Handlebars for the character to grab onto. This piece here in blue might be a recolor for that. I'm not positive, not near as familiar with Lego specific pieces. And then of course you get these flags, which are interestingly right and left mirrored versions. I don't know if Lego does that, so let me know in the comments. Sometimes these are a little bit loose. On my older ones, they were pretty loose. They'd kind of slide up and down that pretty easily. This one's tight, so that's good. But this one is still kind of loose. Not as bad as the other ones that I've gotten, but you know, notable at the very least. And then it looks like this is an area for like another character to maybe stand on, or maybe to suggest them pushing it around. I honestly don't know. So kind of cool. The flags do block this from spinning a full 360 though. So if you remove those flags, this will spin all the way around. And it's obviously going for a crossbow aesthetic. It works well enough. I like it. It's a very simple little side assembly. The build for it is very straightforward. It's very durable. And again, you get more of those silver frictionless pins in here as well. So yeah, pretty cool overall. The gold pieces on the wheels look like a good match for Lego's Pearl Gold. These are a little more translucent than I'd like, but that's pretty common for bootleg sets. And they're not the worst by any means. So definitely usable at the very least. All right, so discrepancy time. What is the thing that I would critique the most about these sets? It is color consistency. So the set does have what I call internal consistency, meaning that if you were to say grab all of the 1x3 tiles from the set, all of their color is going to match. But if you grab a bunch of 1x2 tiles from the set that are supposed to all be the same color, they may not, right? So as an example, as a visual aid, this is a 1x2 tile here. It will match all of the other 1x2 tiles in the set color-wise. However, it's not going to match this 1x3 tile that's directly behind it. The same is true for these 1x3 tiles. These do match that 1x3 tile, but not all of them. You'll also notice there's a 1x3 tile missing. I broke that. I don't know if that's a problem with this or if that's my fault, because I did put it on there kind of weirdly, and I think that was kind of on me. Still, I don't think a Lego piece would have broken there. But I have seen Lego tiles break, so maybe, I don't know. As for that, the brown looks like a pretty decent match for Lego's reddish brown, and thankfully all of the brown pieces in the set do seem to match each other. All of the dark green pieces in the set do seem to match each other. It's really just the green in the set that don't quite match, and the blue pieces as well. The blue pieces have a sort of, I don't know, greenish undertone to them, which makes me think that they're probably not going to match Lego's blue either. I think they'll get close, and it always depends on which era of Lego you're looking at, just because, you know, around 2007, a lot of Lego's blue also had a greenish tinge to it. Other than that, for other extra pieces, you get one of these extra, you get an extra, you know, half bushing, which is just bluish gray, not silver. And then you get 2 of these extra, which are flat silver. So that's fantastic. Light bluish gray is also a good color for that piece too, because I think Lego does make them, or did make them, very early on. I can't confirm that because I don't own whatever set that was from. I've seen them listed on, you know, like Bricklink and stuff, but it's just as easy that someone could have bought a set like this, got them in light bluish gray, didn't know there were bootlegs, and flipped them on Bricklink. I see that happen all the time, and Enlighten is probably one of the most common that you will see flipped on Bricklink because their quality is like identical to Lego in most cases. The only pieces from Enlighten that I have an issue with are sockets, which, I mean, I could say the same thing about Lego depending on the year. Of course, their sockets are pretty fragile, but this piece right here, for example, which is an Enlighten piece in black, is a perfect recreation of Legos as well. So yeah, it really just depends. Would I recommend this set if you can find it? Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a really good one. Again, it is from Enlighten Brick. Qman today, but when this set came out, it was Enlighten Brick. And the set number on it is 2305. I know that's backwards for you. 250 pieces. You get 2 builds. You get 2 characters here, both with great printing. The machines do not have any printing on them at all. It's all stickers. So the printing is only on the characters and their like armor if they have it, right? Also, the hairpiece on this one too, I forgot to mention, it does have painted ears, but the material is a bit softer. It's not quite as soft as like Lego's rubber, but it's not quite as firm as just, you know, ABS plastic or even polypropylene. So box size, if you wanted to know, it's just right here. Very simple. And the back shows you the features of the set. Just one function. Yeah, you can spin that around to whatever. But outside of that, oh, and you get the bolts here too, which show orange on here, but they are red. They are not orange. Okay, so yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe because it does help the channel out. I can't tell you where to find this, unfortunately. These were gifted to me. However, the ones I found in the past were found on a website, which unfortunately has just never had them in stock again. But it was a website called YWOBB, Your World of Building Bricks. You can check it out at the very least because they do have some other bootleg sets that you can get from them, and their prices are really good as well. When I bought this set in the past, brand new, the only thing it didn't have was the box, but it had the instructions, it had the sticker sheets. It was $10 with free shipping. And $10 for 250 pieces alone is already a good deal. But when 2 of those pieces are these lime green air katanas, it's a fantastic deal. Of course I'd pay $5 a piece for those, right? Everything else is basically just free. Oh, and I did mention it, but I don't think I showed it. These trans neon green, always cool to have. Lots and lots of lovely pieces in this set. I really recommend it. Some things you will struggle with. Before I end the video, some axles are just really hard to get out. These air katanas, especially in this one particularly, are going to be difficult to get out. Not impossible by any means. This might just be a sort of one-off thing though. The other ones, I don't remember them being this difficult, but the axles that went into these, I do remember being difficult. So yeah. These pieces also Lego does not make in green. However, again, mentioning that consistency thing, they're too dark to match Lego, but maybe a peroxide bath would brighten that up. I'll test that in the future. All right. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. And yeah, like, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you've had experience with Enlighten, if you had experience with Qman, what are your thoughts on that brand as a whole, or their Bionicle, you know, parts and sets and stuff that they've made, because they have some really lovely stuff out there as well. And of course, if you want to take the conversation further, you can, yeah, check out the Discord, or of course leave a comment below, and you can check out the Instagram and Patreon. I'll see y'all in the next one, guys. Take care.